Hello everyone and welcome back to Terraria. And you'll notice right off the bat that quite a bit has changed from the last video. There have been a bunch of updates, and I've been playing a lot on my side character here. I didn't want to progress very far with Geezer God on Superflu Land. I really should not have named it that, that's really stupid of me. But yeah, I didn't want to progress too far with that off camera. But as I played on my little side world here, and got farther and farther and got more tools over there, as you can see, it just seemed less and less fun to go back to nothing. So instead, I'm going to show you just what there is in the game from the higher points. So once you have some objects. If you want to see the beginning game, there are YouTubers Paulsauresjr and Pbat. They both do amazing Terraria stuff. Pbat actually played quite a bit before the game was even released and got some of the early specs and all sorts of stuff. Really interesting to watch. Paulsauresjr is doing a tutorial world where he's actually showing the very basics: how to craft, how to move, how to build your first house. Extremely helpful, way better than when I did it. I'll hopefully remember to link all of them in the description in this video. But yeah, quite a bit has changed since last time. I'm playing in full screen now. Hopefully that will lead to a better video quality overall. There are some new non-hostile NPCs in the world, like these bunnies down here. I'll try to get one on the surface later, you can see them better. The sun has sunglasses now. I'm pretty sure that is different. And, yeah, there's quite a bit more that I can't show you right now because it's just not here, but I will be sure to get to it. For now, though, let me take you on a tour of this world. Check out, this is my house. I've got a hell forge, normal forge, all sorts of stuff. This is good for smelting metals. Let me see if I have any I can show you. Come on, move fast here. Yeah, I don't have any ore, so I can't actually smelt any metals, but that's what the forges are for. They're made out of stone and torches. Then the anvil, which is made out of just straight up iron, helps you make metal tools, metal decorations like chandeliers, armor, all sorts of fun stuff like that. Also, some very handy tools you might want to make in your own game. The depth meter, which I already have one, takes some copper, some silver, and some gold, so it's not a right off the bat type tool, but if you can make it, what it does is you equip it here, and it will tell you up here in your inventory how high or how deep you are in the world. So it's very helpful for gauging where you think jungles might be, where floating islands might be, all sorts of stuff like that. Really nice. The other one, which I actually need to craft anyway, is a watch. There's a copper one, a silver one, and a gold one. Those are used to tell time, obviously. And I've not actually tested this out myself, but, yep, there we go. The copper watch will tell you the hour, the silver watch tells you the half hour, and the gold watch tells you to the minute what time it is in the day-night cycle. So right now it is 11:20-ish, and nearly noon. Nice and bright outside. But I don't need the clock for now. I'm going to stick with the depth meter. I've also got all sorts of high-level tools. You can see this is my pickaxe now. It just plows through the ground now. I have this thing called a hamaxe, which is both a hammer and an axe. Chops down trees, breaks down walls. Very helpful. This is my phase blade. I am a Jedi. I also have a few different colors of them. You can make different colored phase blades based on the gemstones you'll find in the earth. This is my ball o' hurt. I got this from defeating a boss, which I will be sure definitely to show the bosses later on. I'm going to go through every boss in order, I'm going to go through every biome in order, all that kind of stuff. And I'll try to explain the sort of things you can make with the stuff you get in every area. This is called, what is this called? An Orb of Light. It costs a little bit of the mana that I have here on the side, which is from collecting stars. I don't have any on me, but at night, I showed in my previous video, stars will fall from the sky. If you collect 10 of them, you can craft them into a mana star, which you then eat, and you get a little star of mana here. I've managed to max it out playing around here, same as my health. And so I have quite a bit of mana now. And you use it to cast spells like Orb of Light, there's Magic Missile later on, all that sort of stuff. So, lots of really handy abilities there. To increase your health, I don't know if I ever showed it, there are crystal hearts down in the depths underground. And they just look like hearts made out of gemstone. And you bust them up with a hammer, and then you eat the results, and boom, more health. So that's how that's done. Anything I need to show real fast, that's for later. So that's that. Okay, so that's pretty much the basics of what's changed. You get all sorts of tools. It's definitely much more fun if you learn it as you go, but if you don't want to, there's the wiki. Don't know the URL off the top of my head. I will post that in the description as well. I have a lot of stuff in the description. So yeah, let me continue my tour here like I was doing. As you can see, the back walls that you need to make a house don't need to be solid. You can bust holes for windows, but there is a minimum amount of wall you have to allow NPCs to move in. And for an NPC to move into your house, they have to have a certain size room. It's, I believe, 9 by 12, 6 by 12. Not huge, but it needs to be pretty large enough to fit enough stuff in. They need a source of light somewhere, in this case chandelier, or whether it's candle, torches, anything like that. They need a door, so they have to be able to get into the room. It can't just be a hut with an opening. And they need a table and a chair. Always a table and a chair. Doesn't matter if you have more, but you need at least one table and at least one chair. And so once you have those, based on other requirements, these various NPCs will move in. Demolitionist recently got changed. It's as long as you find a sticky bomb, which is made with a regular bomb and gel, which you get from slimes. As long as you have a sticky bomb in your inventory, and I believe also a grenade. I'm not sure how you get grenades, but if you find a grenade and have a sticky bomb, the demolitionist will show up and live in one of your rooms. The merchant requires a minimum amount of money, about 50 silver. The dryad requires you to kill a boss. The nurse needs you to have increased your health at least once. And the arms dealer requires you to have found a gun, which those are random drops usually in the corruption or from killing bosses, things like that. There is a new NPC recently called the Clothier. He sells certain types of clothing and some dyes. The way you get him is to defeat a specific boss known as Skeletron, and I believe I'll do him last when I start covering the bosses. So yes, I have built this house, pretty much it is almost dead center in the map, and it has a passage down below that leads both to hell and off to the side to what's called the dungeon, which is always on one extreme side of the world. One side has an ocean, the other side has a dungeon, and then behind that is also an ocean. And then I have this spire here on the top that leads to the floating islands, which I will get to in the future as well. Just because it's fun, I'm going to go show you the new non-hostile NPCs, the bunnies. Let's see if I can find one here. And what's fun about them is they wander around, you know, nothing too special about them. I'm not going to do the one in the cave, that's inhumane. They wander around, have very low health, but other than that they don't do much. Certain monsters can kill them, but most of the time they don't. What you can do, though, is use this vile powder, which you can create by getting mushrooms from the corruption, which, that's over here, it's corruption. You'll notice it when you start seeing these sort of tunnels and the purplish grass. You can get mushrooms from corruption, which you can then craft on an alchemy table. Hang on. Die, you bastards, I'm explaining things! You go to an alchemy table, which is a table with a bottle on it, and you can make vile powder out of it. You use that on a bunny, and what? Corrupted bunny has 100 health, does ridiculous amounts of damage, and when you hit them, they'll fly away from you, making them pretty difficult to kill quickly. There we go. Boom. Dead. That's what bunnies do. There's another non-hostile NPC known as Goldfish. I don't know what I'm calling it known as. It's a goldfish. It just spawns randomly in water and will despawn just as randomly. I don't seem to have one at the moment, but they look a bit like this, except these are dead. Goldfish work the same way. They are non-hostile, they have really low health, but nothing much really kills them. However, if you use vile powder on them, they become corrupted goldfish, have 100 health, and will slaughter you if you're not careful. Also, new to the same update that brought those in, is the social equipment slot. Say, for example, you had armor on. Let me pull my social stuff off. I have, what's this called? Molten armor, made from hellstone. It glows when you move around, it has really good defense, but it gets kind of boring if everyone has molten armor. So they've introduced these social slots, which you put in items like sunglasses, archaeologist pants and jackets. There's also tuxedo, all sorts of random stuff like that. What it does is it covers up your armor without actually removing the effects, except for the glow. Anything that is a full set effect, such as the glowing, or I'm not sure about speed. Certain armor sets have like a speed boost to them. I'm not sure if it ruins that, but anyway, it will remove the glow. But then you have this nice suit of clothing that is not your armor, despite still having the defense that your armor will give you. For new adventurers, things you might want to look for going into caves if you find chests. Cloud in a bottle allows you to double jump. Extremely useful. More recently, they've patched double jumping to fix fall distance. So, say for example, I went, yay! Ow, that hurt. Actually, a lot more than I was expecting it to. What you can do with the cloud in a bottle is jump, and then, whoop, it resets your fall distance from where you double jumped. So you can fall forever, and as long as you know where the bottom is, if you jump right before you hit the bottom, you'll save yourself. I have already showed the depth meter. Bandage generation, it's just gives you refilling health. You'll see it's extremely slow, but, you know, worth it if you're just wandering around, kind of have a little bit low health, it'll fix itself. Hermes boots, let me go find a nice stretch of land here. Oh, let me open all my doors, I can just show you here. What they do is, after you've walked a certain distance, you'll start giving off little puffs of smoke and running at super speed. There we go, see? And that will persist even if you jump. So it's very handy for traversing relatively flat landscapes. Oh, damn, it's getting nighttime. But if you do stop or hit a wall, it will cancel its effect and you'll have to run again. And finally, the obsidian skull. Obsidian is gained, much like in Minecraft, when water hits lava. And if you mine enough of it, with a sufficiently leveled pickaxe, you can create this obsidian skull out of it. And what it does is, if you touch hellstone or meteors that descend from the sky, you would normally take fire damage. Small amounts, not much, but it's a pain and you can't stand on them. If you craft this, you can stand on them just fine, and it's much easier to mine it. Flippers are helpful. You'll find things like flippers and the breathing reed here in chests you find underwater. And what the flipper does is it just allows you to hit the jump button and you'll swim. I can show you that down here. Let's see, even, oh, let me equip it first so I don't look like an idiot. It allows you to continue jumping and choose exactly where you want to be in the water. So, very handy if, like me, you find a bunch of flooded chambers down below. Almost my entire digging to hell was completely underwater, so I'll show you down there later. It's got a lot of air holes that are no longer needed, because once I broke into hell, I flooded hell. And so all the water drained down. So that's what happens there. There's also the breathing reed, which actually is not an accessory, but an inventory item. When you scroll over to it, it equips. And what you can do is stay a certain distance under the water. I believe it's 3 blocks or something like that. And as long as the reed is poking above the water, you can breathe. So if I switch away, oh, suddenly I'm drowning. Reed, I can breathe again. So that's, you know, fun to mess around with. It's not especially helpful unless you have an area that, say, you have to wander through a corridor and it's flooded at a certain height that is just low enough for the breathing reed to reach. It would be useful then. What else? Oh, I have the magic mirror. What that does is it sends you right back to your spawn. In my case, my spawn is my bed. Normally it was over that hill, I think. Beds, I should mention this, are made out of silk and wood. To make silk, you need cobwebs. I can't show you any cobwebs in the wild, because I busted most of the ones right around here, but see here, cobwebs. You just pick them up, and go to a crafting bench, and here we go. Silk. So say I made a whole bunch of this. Set it down, and there we go. Bed takes 15 wood, 5 silk. And then you can set your spawn wherever you want. And you can have multiple beds and just set your spawn whichever one you used last. So say, for example, you wanted to have a house near the dungeon. so that if you died in the dungeon, you'd be right there again. You could just go, build a small house, put a backing on it, place a bed in there, and anytime you use the bed, you would be able to respawn there anytime you died. So, very handy. Let's see. What else? Ah, piggy bank. A merchant will get out of my way here. A piggy bank is sort of a cross-server storage space. It's mostly used for money, but I'm pretty sure you can just place anything in it. Yeah, you can place whatever you want in the piggy bank, and if you go to another server, if there's a piggy bank, it will be your piggy bank, no matter what. Even if somebody else built it and placed it, it will still have your stuff from your piggy bank in it. So that's very handy, and also it's great for storing your money for when you go out to dangerous areas and will most likely die, which I do a lot. I think that's pretty much it. That's all I've got that's special here. I've got a few special arrows, but pretty much what they do is they go through enemies and continue on. They're not all that amazing. Don't think I ever showed the grappling hook, so let me show that. If you ever find a hook, skeletons and also piranhas, a underwater enemy that I have not yet seen, they drop hooks, which look like little triangles for some reason. If you take a hook and a few pieces of chain made out of iron, you can make a grappling hook. Amazingly helpful for traversing caves and deep water if you don't have the flippers or the cloud in a bottle. So you want to make a grappling hook as soon as you possibly can. Even if you don't have very good equipment, it is good to get down deep into the caves, try to find some skeletons, and try to get as many hooks as you possibly can to make grappling hooks. Now, I think I'm done. For now, I'm going to go over more in-depth things later. So, thank you for joining me on this little what's new since last time video. I'm going to call it here and be back for the first boss, I think. That should work. So, see you guys next time.